Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black, White, and Red All Over. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
Ryan Seymour, king of Comic Town in Columbus, Ohio.
We out here, we doing stuff. We read some books. We read a lot of books.
There's a lot of books.
This was kind of a full week for what I would have assumed to be like a wind down for the year.
Yeah, as we're creeping up on the holidays, normally you're getting thinner and thinner book selections. And this one, like, we've got two the same, and everything else is different.
Like, meaty reads. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of good stuff here. So, jumping right into it, good reads that you should read. We've got totally different. I did read one of yours, so I can definitely jaw with you on that one. But where do you want to start? Where do you want to talk?
I'm interested in the ASM because, like, we got the crossover Dark Web, and it's X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yes.
And at first I was like, that sounds stupid. Then after the one shot, I was like, I'm the stupid because it was fun.
Because it was good. Okay, so this one, Amazing Spider-Man number 15, Dark Web tie-in. We've got Zeb Wells. That's a lot of ebb sounds. Zeb Wells, Ed McGuinness. That was even harder to come through. Rathburn and Menez. Okay, so first of all, this book is pretty. Okay, pretty to look at. That's first thing that you'll definitely pick up. But this is a affected Eddie, as you can see on the cover. Yeah, he makes an appearance. An affected Eddie being used to keep Pete busy, and man, that's fun. Yeah, it is.
Pete's a threat.
Pete is a threat,
and Eddie and Venom got history with him.
They have strong feelings, very strong feelings. And all the things that they've gone through recently, there has been a devolving of Eddie to a place where that ain't the energy that he's coming with. You know, so it's interesting because he's still kind of a hero-minded person, just not when it comes to Pete. When it comes to Pete, he's like, no, I want to eat your brains. Yeah, I'm going to eat your brains. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So this is a lot of fun. Big energy. It moves really quickly. As far as where it goes in the scheme of things, stuff is happening. So like there's this immediate feeling like, oh, this has to happen in order for you to see the bigger stage. But exactly, if something within this has happened that you need, I can't say that. Yeah. But it's a fun read in the midst of all this other stuff happening. So it was solid. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good read. It was a good time. Yeah. And at only
it's like probably $4.
Yeah, I think $4. That's good value. I like it.
A little bit more expensive. Batman Spawn #1.
Yes.
$6.99 from DC and Image together as one unit. If you remember, if you're old like me, there was a Batman Spawn and a Spawn Batman one shot that came out many moons ago. And this one is just as fun. Anytime, like, you've got Capullo, you've got Greg Capullo. Anytime he's drawing capes, whether that's Spawn or Batman, the new 52 run on Batman was just so gorgeous with Scott Snyder.
Fantastic.
And you're getting the Todd McFarlane coming back and writing Spawn.
Okay, who wrote the original Batman Spawn crossover?
I think one was Frank Miller.
Right.
The other one
was that Todd?
Maybe.
Okay. Because I mean that was important. Like, I think that definitely set a stage and a tone, and this picks that up very, very well. Yeah, very well.
It's interesting because there's the parallels between Spawn and Batman.
Huge.
They both come from situations where they've lost someone incredibly important to them. And that kind of fuels them moving forward. Spawn is a little bit dark. Well, saying the character is darker than Batman, but Spawn is.
Literally.
And it's the Court of Owls. They're trying to figure out a way to kill Batman. And they found a way to merge these universes, these different dead zones. And they've got Spawn convinced, like, oh, Batman has Wanda's soul. Wanda is his wife. Yeah. And Batman is trying to get the pearls back because someone has his mother's pearls. So the theory is that we're going to have a collision course between these two characters. Spawn, who is just way more powerful than Batman, is going to take him out. And it doesn't work that way. We get the full flavor of each of the characters. Batman has his limits, doesn't kill. Spawn, no, you're dead if he wants you to die.
If he really wanted you to go, you might get shot in the face. Like, it's just that simple.
And it's so much fun. It just is those two trying to track down the people that have them pitted against each other. Bad stuff happens to them. There's call-outs to the original stuff. There's call-outs to the DC cinematic universe because there's a what's her name moment.
Yes, there was.
Why
did you say that?
There's did you catch the panel where it was Joker and the
Yes, that might be the scariest crossover
Right?
Ever.
You don't just throw a panel like that.
I mean,
because it's a freaky Joker to start with.
You already know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know what's coming.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's absolutely fun. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a one shot. Don't really need to know much going
Right.
inside what you know about Batman, what you know about Spawn. Incredibly fun. The art is just stupid amazing. And Greg wasn't Greg on Mark Miller's Miller Time podcast here recently?
Yes, he was.
So,
they got like a good hour plus in their conversation. Yeah. So actually, Mark said it was his best one so far.
It was a great one.
Okay,
I enjoyed it.
I haven't watched that one yet. I still got to finish him and Carrie.
Yeah,
that one was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go for Batgirls. Okay, so big shout out to Michael Conrad, Becky Cloonan, and who did the artwork on this one? Jonathan Case, art, colors, and letters. So, okay, here's the biggest reason why I chose this one is I just interviewed Becky and Michael at GalaxyCon last weekend or weekend before last. And so, like, I have Batgirls on the brain.
Yeah.
And it was fun to, hear them talk about the annual where Cass and Stephanie switch places. And so this is picking up directly from that. And it's such a great sort of kid-parent issue where the girls, in the midst of this switcheroo, are engaging with each other's parents.
Yeah.
And if you know their parents, then you know that that's not the most convenient placement for either one of them, let alone in a switched body parallel. Yeah. So in this fun little Freaky Friday sort of, setup, this is a fun sort of story. Like, it just kind of sets up exactly what is happening. And it's a cool representation of what this series is. It's very girl-centric. Batman is in this, yes, but he is not the point. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of what makes Batgirls work is these are two actual young ladies, three if you count Barbara, who have a history in Gotham. It is their own, and while they do have a connection to the Batman family, what they have is something totally unique. Yeah. When you talk about Batman family, you don't talk about the Batgirls.
Yeah, never do. But they are important.
Yeah, hugely so. So, Batgirls, check that one out.
Alrighty. Savage Avengers number 8.
Yes.
So, the creator, the writer, David Pepos, has been posting on Twitter, like, y'all, you're not ready for this. Y'all not ready for this.
Okay.
I was like, okay. I've enjoyed everything up to this point, but I'm curious. Right. What am I not ready for? All right. So, we got David writing, Carlos Magno on art, Espen Grudadern on colors, VC's Travis Lanham on lettering. So, you've got this ragtag motley crew of the Savage Avengers.
Right.
You got Anti-Venom, Dagger. Right, this is crazy. Anti-Venom, Dagger, Black Knight, Daredevil, Elektra Daredevil, Weapon H, Cloak. They're all trapped in 2099 because they've been chased by this Deathlock, and we find out what that whole Deathlock and Deathlock army thing is. And it is... There is a bad guy. The problem is they're both bad guys in my estimation. But you've got...
Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Trying to fight Doom 2099.
No.
Yeah. And this ever-escalating battle between the bad guy that you'll read about when you pick this up and Doom and the Savage Avengers is bonkers. Nobody's safe.
At all.
Not at all.
Okay.
And the violence level keeps escalating. It's one of those, it's almost like Taylorian in the sense of like, what would happen if you comboed these two characters together and we're getting and it totally fits. It's not like force. It's like this, like, of course in that moment you would have to do that, and it just keeps escalating until the end.
Wait a minute. No.
Right?
No.
Right?
That's not okay.
That's not even remotely okay.
That's,
so you got this hook and the very last splash page.
Good job.
Yeah, the entire creative team on this. It is so much fun. It tickles the fancy, the inner teenager in me, and it's like, oh yeah, if you had weapon at, it's amazing. And I think the trade paperback came out this week also. So
good reading. Okay, so I grabbed Monica Rambeau Photon. Now let me be honest here. Okay, all due respect, because respect is due, and I feel like it's only fair to speak this way. So Eve Ewing is the writer. Obviously, when I saw this and I saw Ewing, I thought it was Al Ewing, who has this tendency, especially coming off of Ultimates, to handle this character with a sense of fun and care that I was really enjoying. So that's literally why I picked this up, because I was like, oh, Al Ewing is writing this?
Yeah.
I'm there. Let's go. But it's Eve. So different. Not necessarily bad, but different. Let's see. Luca Maresca with Ivan Fiorielli. Fiorielli, I think that's how you say that. Is the artist, and then Carlos Lopez on colors, and VC's Clayton Cowles on letters. So this one's interesting because it really kind of is a pseudo catch-up. Like, if you're not familiar with who Monica Rambeau is as Photon, which I'm guessing she's been Photon again for a little while, but this is kind of like a perfect sort of like, hey, before Marvels comes out, you might want to know a little bit more about her.
Yeah.
I do think like there's one aspect of this that they kind of hint at, and they do a great job of kind of coming in with classic Marvel superhero storytelling, but then kind of get into some real stuff in there. When she mentions like her name being usurped, I was like, well, that's a conversation. I think that's because, okay, people, let's get this straight. Carol Danvers wasn't even the second Captain Marvel. Monica was. So, like, in terms of a name, she had it first, y'all. She had it first. So, you know, when you're talking about Captain Marvel lineage, it was Marvel, Monica, then Carol. So, you know, I think that part was the most interesting to me in this little tidbit of her mentioning it. She doesn't harp, but she mentions it, and just kind of seeing where everything is going. I mean, but over the last few years, we've seen her with Adam Brashear as a couple. That's Blue Marvel. We get a little hint of that. We know that she used to run the Avengers at one point. We get a little hint of that. Like, there's a lot in here that this kind of establishes, but she's kind of like, hey, you know what? I need to be me right now. And I think that's going to be the hook of where this series goes, which is kind of fun. So,
she was a cool character in that television series.
Right.
But, like, the general populace that enjoys Marvel through the movies and television, which is totally valid,
of course,
is not familiar with her rich backstory as a character in the comics. That she isn't just some like thrown in character for like, oh well, you know, spice this up.
Let's do a black one with energy power. No.
She led the Avengers.
She's been here for a while. Okay, so also check out Next Wave, because Next Wave is amazing.
Is amazing.
It's amazing.
I want that to be a movie
so bad. Yes.
And it's never going to happen. Oh,
they can't.
All right. From DC.
Black
Label. We've got Danger Street, #1, Once Upon a Time in a Far Off Kingdom. All right. So we got Tom King writing. We got Jorge Farnes on art and cover art, Dave Stewart on colors, and Clayton Cowles on letters.
Clayton was busy this month.
Yeah. All right. So this is really interesting. This is one whereas Savage Avengers and Spawn Batman satisfy that teenager in me that will never ever grow up. I'm like, oh yeah, capes and fighting and stabbing.
Love it.
And this one was like, hey, you're 47. These are characters that you might know that other people don't. Enjoy the gray in your beard, have your Ovaltine. And
not the Ovaltine.
Oh, it's Ovaltine. So I'm not old enough.
How many people don't even, you know what demographic you just reached out to? They're like, I don't even know what Ovaltine is.
What's Ovaltine? You have Ovaltine with your multi-meal, and then take
a bunch of kids. Like, you had to be a kid at the lowest end is a kid my age who knows what Ovaltine is because of A Christmas Story. Like, that's you'll shoot your eye out. Go ahead.
Right? So this is a really interesting story. It's some B-list characters that are still incredibly powerful, and one group is trying to figure out, they want to get into the Justice League because the Justice League is the big time.
Okay.
They're one of those high, like if you're powerful enough and you fit in and you
should be able to do that.
Yeah. And they've got this plan that we'll find this villain, we'll defeat the villain, and since we've defeated the villain,
Justice League will be like, come on.
Like, come on, guys, you guys did it. At the same time, you've got another story happening where it's these kids that, you know, they've got an ATV, they just want to go crazy, and they're teenagers with an ATV. Like, what do you expect? And you get to this point where there's a collision course, and they end up crossing paths, and bad stuff happens.
I was gonna say.
So, what ends up happening? Things now are horrible.
That's bad.
Yeah. What do they do? What do the kids do? What do the police do? Because this is something that is a criminal matter at this point.
Right.
And then what do these superheroes do because they've crossed lines. They had no intention and no plan to cross those lines.
And yet lines were crossed.
Mm-hmm. So now, what do? What is if the Justice League has them on their radar now, it's no longer like, why don't you join us? It's like, what
did you do? And now we have to take you in. And okay.
Yeah. So really, really cool.
Nice.
It's a much more cerebral read.
Okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I had it on my stash, on my read pile, but decisions had to be made, and the art style,
it's a different style. Like,
well, especially from the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cover gave it like this edgy sort of thing, and then I opened up, it was like, that's not what I'm feeling right here. So I should read it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now,
Right.
the art is definitely kind of old school. It's got this 1980s sort of vibe to it, whereas this cover is like, Miss Sherrard's or something.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. So I'm not a total crazy person, because I was like, cover doesn't matter. All right. Yeah. That's cool. All right. So good reads that you should read.
Yes.
Total, I'm looking at, let's see, it's about $12 for me. So
I ordered the lobster this week.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
5, 12s, almost $20.
Sometimes you gotta try it like that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost Christmas. You're allowed. All right. So on the must reads, if you've got, well, due to one of the books here being a special pricing, basically what, $10?
Yeah.
If you got $10,
4, 8, 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's awesome. Okay, so we've got two that are the same, one that's different. Please tell me Nobody's Girls. Tell me about it, because I almost grabbed it.
Yes. All right. So last week, if you remember last week's episode, our DC stuff was late. Yeah. DC stuff included 2 Sumerian books.
Oh,
All Hail Sumerian, which sounds weird compared to Behemoth, but
it does.
There were 2 of them, and I would have reviewed at least one of them,
right?
Because there's one that was just so heavy metal drummer crack and nightmare. So this week, Nobody's Girls. This is Conley, I believe, also wrote You Promised Me Darkness.
Okay.
And the art in this one is much cleaner than that. Like You Promised Me Darkness was like, the art was really
super gritty.
dirty and gritty.
Yeah.
And this one has more of almost like a Daniel Clowes style to it. Grayscale.
Very Ghost World.
And the paper really does wonders with it, because it's like this glossy paper. And it is kind of weird, because it's like this size. It's almost like an ash can size. Right. Which is interesting. I'm curious how that's gonna go long term with like different if they do all their books in that format, which would be interesting. Because then you can be aggressive potentially with the price point.
Very much so.
But that's the businessman in me. Anyways, this is a noir story. There are children missing, girls missing.
Okay.
And this disparate team of 2 people. One is a younger girl, and the other is like this older dude, and they, for whatever reason, are trying to find Lupe, who's gone missing. Oh. And we start to find out about Lupe's backstory, her history, and her grandmother has a very, very interesting point. She's like, "Why are you guys looking for her? When I know you're not her friends or family." And they're like, "Well, why don't you go to the police?" And this is where the Nobody's Girl part comes in. We're Latino.
We might not be documented. Oh, snap.
And are the police going to care? Like, we're not from that demographic that the cops are going to take seriously and try to find. And we start to get more into the actual, like, Lupe's life. And yeah, like it's a troubled person that got themselves in a bad spot with bad people.
Right.
And because of all that, police aren't going to care. So the only way to find out what happened to her,
they got to take on this mission themselves.
Yeah, and it's this super...
It's like a dark Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it really is. And they're trying to find her against this cast of characters that have secrets they don't want to give up. Ooh. Yeah, so it really is this really awesome, really noir, grounded in unfortunate real life stuff. And so, 100%. All Hail Sumerian. Track this down, because this is book 2. Yeah, you're gonna want to get a hold of book 1 also. Nice. Treat yourself. Yeah,
that's a really good read. Looking at it, that looks dope. Yeah. Okay, on a much lighter note, right? Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 18. Is Kal-El Returns, part 6. So this is the last of this run, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Okay, so we've got Tom Taylor. Let's see. Wait, let's get to everyone's bona fides. Tom Taylor, Cyan Torme, Ruari Coleman, Those are pencils. Inks are Cyan Torme, Rory Coleman. Oh, I guess they did double duties. And Scott Hanna, who is amazing. Colors, we got Romulo Fedaro Jr. and letters Dave Sharp. Okay, so nothing is better than opening up on superheroes rebuilding the Kent house. Like that's there's got to be like something fun about the notion of having that as part of your story.
Yeah.
Because the Kent's house in Smallville, from time to time, does get rocked.
Yeah.
And it did last issue. It got messed up pretty bad, actually. And there's nothing funnier than Clark being like, I'll rebuild it. Like, you know he means it too.
Yeah.
And being such a farm boy, he probably can. But he has help. And
right.
That's the cutest
Imagine
thing
being
ever.
invited into that inner circle for something, because that's not just a...
That's huge,
Yeah.
man. Would you rather be one of the heroes that gets invited to do it, or would you want to be one of the Kents just watching this happen?
That's weird. Like it would be such an honor, because Superman, his son Superman, like those are your paragons. But imagine being the Kents, and from the perspective of, yes, Superman is Superman, but he's your son.
Yeah.
And these people that he like, do you deify the people that he works with?
How do you not?
Or do you see them in the same sense of like, yes, he has powers, but he's our son.
He's our kid.
So yes,
See, I
Wonder Woman
would
has
almost
powers.
I would almost say like it would be funny for the Kents to deify the other Justice League members
And
but not him. He's like, but Mom, I can. Yes, Clark. But listen, I'm talking. Don't interrupt. Like that's weird. And so Diana, tell me about your hair. Like, oh my God, it glows. Well, actually, Mom, she bet. Shh, Clark,
Grown-ups.
come on, grown-ups are talking. It's like, what? I don't understand. I would totally pay good money to see that.
Literally an extraterrestrial demigod.
And Diana leans over like, I've killed those before. Oh, tell me about it. So this one's interesting because, again, so we've got this character, Red Sin, right? And Red Sin has this ability to affect Kryptonians. How exactly? They are wielding aspects of a red sun radiation. And we find out why they can.
Yeah.
And this is the establishment of a major villain for John. And I think that's going to be the cool part about this is John has walked away from this series with his own arch nemesis, a badge of honor, really.
Yeah.
He's not quite proud of it, but
You're going to do
I mean, it's going to happen, man. Like you are Superman.
Yeah.
And Superman has to have his arch nemesis.
Yeah.
So now you got one. Congratulations. Yay! Yeah. It was interesting, though. Yeah. I really enjoyed the way that played out. And I can't wait to see what this new era of Superman family stories is going to be. Because it's going to be hard to put John back in the bottle because he's been able to stand on his own very well.
And prove it. Sales have shown it.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do Specs.
Yeah.
Specs number 2. David Boer, big shout out, Ohio's own. Christian and Roman Stevens. Right? David is from Ohio. Didn't we figure that out?
I think so, yeah.
I think we figured that out.
And if not, we've adopted you.
Yeah, we claim you. Yeah. We absolutely claim you. Okay, so last issue, guys get this magical pair of wish specs, and they wish away their bully.
Yeah. And it worked.
It totally works.
But
the outcomes of it working, not necessarily what you would hope for.
Yeah, because the bully's gone.
Yeah.
But the bully was there at some point. So you got friends and family looking for him.
You would think.
The police they're working their way back.
Yeah.
And one of our two protagonists was in a fight earlier with him. And so as far as the police know, he was the last person to see them.
Yeah. Or at least a person with a motive to get him to go away.
Yep.
And considering when this takes place, I mean, DNA testing is not strong.
Yeah.
At all. And DNA testing isn't strong, and there's already a bias.
Yes.
We will say a proclivity to assume you did it.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to phrase it that way. It was like much like in Nobody's Girl.
Yeah. It's a very racially motivated sort of you're guilty until proven you're guilty.
Yeah.
Okay. And such a crazy, like, what a great monkey's paw sort of showcase, because almost in a way, the way that these wishes in this issue are occurring,
Yeah.
you don't know that they're necessarily wishes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
something was said, some things happened, and you go, well, was that the wish coming true? Because if so, that was shite. Like, that was so
right?
bad.
Because
Ugh.
there's two main wishes.
Yes.
Two main wishes. And one of them is like, oh, I get it, like, but you're asking for powers that you don't understand yet.
That's right.
And it feels really monkey pawing in what's going to happen. And then that tear-soaked wish was...
That hurt me.
Right?
That hurt me.
Because this person has every bit of potential, based on the two issues we've seen and what they're capable of getting out of this podunk town, getting into a place where they can be famous, where they can really, really shine.
Of their own accord.
And how does that wish factor in there?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, clearly, in the way that we're seeing it now,
he's going to be getting out of town in a different way.
Yeah, totally different. Okay, so in terms of a coming-of-age story, this one's brilliant because we've got unrequited love, you've got best friends, you've got magic wishes. Like, there's so many different aspects of this that shouldn't work on paper, but absolutely do. Like, absolutely do.
Fundamentally, it's a character story.
It really is.
And that when you've got that solid foundational structure to work with, you can interweave these different things that make it magical, to make it fantastical.
Yeah.
But it's so believable.
It's grounded.
And heartfelt.
Literally grounded in a way that it's perfect. Yeah, man, this one... Arguably, this is one of my sleeper hits of the year. Like, this is one... Only 2 issues in, as you can see. But the concept is so strong that it's a talking point. Like, this is one of those things where when someone goes, I don't read comics, and you give them this. Yeah. And you go, you are now changed. Congratulations. Now you do. And you're thankful. Yeah. And you're thankful. So, solid read. Like, I definitely enjoyed that one. Big claps.
Really, really good.
Okay. This is a book that has been hyped up for months now. Like...
Part of the hype is the price point.
Huge
incredibly
price point.
Disruptive if it is something that can be maintained.
Absolutely. Nightclub. This is the newest series from Miller World. Mark Miller, Juan N. Ramirez. The price point in question is $1.99. Yeah. Now, when I first came into comics, $1.99 was still a little high. Yeah. Like, I came in like the $1.25 era, so to speak. Maybe like the next year it hit $1.99. Yeah. But we haven't seen $1.99 in a long time. Yeah. Like, we long for the days of at this point.
Yeah. It's for several generations of comic readers now. It almost like, wait, you used to walk uphill both ways to school and books were under $2?
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
It did happen. Okay. So... Okay, how do we describe this without spoiling it?
I almost don't care about spoiling it.
I almost don't either. Because it's just... Okay, first and foremost, we were talking about this before we started recording, and I think this is a very important point. Out of all of Mark's, like, library catalog of material, this one seems very much so teenage-centric.
Yeah, targeted to a different age than his other material, which is very cerebral, very adult, very mature. And this one has a youthful, excited, the world is wonderful, and I have access to it now in ways that other people don't.
It's almost purposefully not that deep. Yeah. Like a kid would approach it.
Yeah.
And
because if you gave 16-year-old me vampiric powers, the amount of stupid that I would accomplish nightly
would be strong.
Vikings would write sagas about my stupid. Like
we project upon the moon that this is going to happen. I mean, and that's the thing. So we were wondering if, based on the reading demographic of this, does that play into the price point? Because you're talking about a group that may not have as much disposable income. So you're targeting a readership group that has been overlooked for a very long time, price-wise. And story content-wise, I mean, some of the stories that have been written are, aimed at such an older audience, whether that's context, content, language, whatever.
There's almost a manga vibe to the story.
Yes! Like that's
the way it hits.
That's my thing. That is literally my thing.
I can totally see my kids watching this as an anime or reading it as a manga. Like, make it black and white, flip it so you have to read it the other way.
Immediately. Okay, so we're introduced to three friends that are in this day and age trying to find their way.
Yeah.
Right?
You can be an influencer.
You can be an influencer. Well, first things first, you got to do something dope.
You have
Let
to have a skill.
video go viral. Boom. Once you do that, biggity bam. Their attempt is parkour. Genius, right? Like, yes, everyone loves parkour. Flip that. Jump off of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, clearly you can't just be regular parkour. Like, that's hogwash, okay?
Yeah, because if you're just doing it on some like steps outside your front door, that's nothing,
man. Like, what is 2012? Like, that ain't sweet. Nah, you got to do this dangerously.
On the top of a building.
What could go wrong?
Well,
what could go wrong?
We find out quickly.
We do. Poor Danny. Mistakes are made, okay? Yeah. Danny had a plan, okay? He had been practicing on the ground. Should be the same.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and streams that you're used to.
I seen a rainbow yesterday, and it was pouring out of the back of Danny's head. Yeah, it doesn't go well, and he puts himself in a position where, quite frankly, he's bad off.
Yeah.
Okay? Like,
his life has changed drastically.
Drastically for the worst.
Yeah. Really, really bad.
He was reaching for the stars, and this is what happens when you reach, because when you fall, it's a long way down.
You hit the sidewalk.
Oh, my God. He's not dying, which would almost be better.
It would be better. Like, based on what the injuries we understand.
It would be better.
But
he's not. So, instead, he's visited by a skulky individual who turns it.
Yeah.
And when you see this guy, you're like, clearly you're the monster. That's not okay. No.
Yeah, Juanan did such an amazing job. Like, that panel right there, you were born to draw vampires.
Yes.
You may not know it yet.
Yes.
But you, like, this is...
I want this as a t-shirt.
Right?
Like, just give me this as a t-shirt.
Nightclub. And
it's
then,
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's absolutely brilliant.
And I love the mentor role that he's taking.
It's so funny.
It really is. And it's
he's like, okay, now listen, this is what's happening. Okay? Why am I bleeding? Did you? No. Right? That's not what happened.
Like you wake up, you're in a vampire's apartment, chained to his bed.
Why am I? Well, I don't want you to hurt yourself. Okay, you just turned, and you have to understand the rules, man. I'm trying to tell you things.
You don't drink a Capri Sun without the straw.
You don't. Okay,
and that's what he was afraid of. And he was afraid of the straw.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's so funny. Now the thing that I do like, okay, this is a pivotal and very important thing.
Yep.
That this is the moment where I was like, this is for kids. Not kids, but teens, right? Because when it comes to vampires, okay, there are certain ways that you can kill a vampire. And there's one obvious one that is this immediate idea of, as soon as this happens, vampire's dead.
Yeah.
And that's not the rule that we're playing with here. Yeah. And I think it gives huge opportunity for some cool storytelling.
Yeah.
Considering that. Like, it's a diminishment of the curse, so to speak, but it's such a perfect setup. Like, it's not that there's no repercussions, just slow repercussions. Yeah. And that, I think, gives a lot of cool opportunity for some cool stories to take place.
Yeah.
What would you do if you were walking down the street and it's just like, you saw that? Like, I don't know that I would handle that well.
Like, it's Philly. I mean, definitely. They threw snowballs and batteries at Santa Claus. Like,
you look at it.
That's Philly.
No, of course, not even a problem. Dude, you talk about mentor training,
right? Like, there's the training montage, which is amazing. Like, this character, there is a reason that he has been saved and turned into a vampire. And we still don't fully know what that is yet.
No, not at all.
You're like, oh my gosh. Okay, so there is this plan. It isn't just some random, like, creepy reason. There is a definite, there is a bad guy that we're not aware of yet. And we're going to get ready for it. And the whole mentor process is like, okay, you find out the rules and how the powers of vampirism work in this universe. Oh my gosh.
And you've given it to at least one kid. Like, you know he's not supposed to do what he's gonna do.
Right.
You know he's not supposed to. I can't even imagine how upset this dude is gonna be.
Right.
You're like,
That was not what you were. You almost.
But who told you you could do? You didn't say I couldn't. I didn't. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. And just the Spider-Man style.
Because he's so on it. He is so like, yeah. And you're like,
you gave a teenager the powers of a vampire.
This is what you get. This is what you get. No, I think that was the part that just made me laugh so much with it because it's just pure fun. Like it's taking Twilight and going, no, but really, this is what would happen.
Yeah.
This is what would happen.
100% is. It's so much fun. It's funny, laugh out loud where it needs to be. It's serious and tenor where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's fantastic. Yeah.
Give
Nightclub.
Yeah. It's $1.99.
Come on.
It's $2.
Try it. You will pay more for your coffee.
Yeah.
No matter how old you are, you will literally pay more for your coffee. So put it down on Nightclub because it's the right club to get a bite club.
Mm-hmm.
You like it.
And it's $2.
Yeah.
So even if you hate it, like you've been at Circle K looking at the different color Mountain Dews.
Yeah.
And you've tried one. And you're like, I don't know.
I don't
like it. It was $2.
$2.50.
$2.50. So
easily.
this is cheaper than the Mountain Dew that you regret.
That's all I'm saying. Come on.
And the vampires.
Yeah. It's got vampires. It's super fun.
And the bloody pants.
When you get to the bloody pants, you'll be like, wait, what? Because it's so funny.
I was kind of concerned about the same thing he was concerned about. I was like, holy crap.
That is prejudicial, sir. Not all vampires.
I've watched Interview with the Vampire, the series. I know things.
I've seen True Blood. They're not all like that. They're not all. All of them are like that. It was a real thing to wake up to, though.
Yeah.
I can imagine be like, oh, what is that? Calm down.
Relax.
Calm down. Can you reuse it, though? That's the question.
Oh, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you recycle?
I don't know. Does that get filtered out very well?
Do they happen both ways?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Okay. Chances are we will see.
Yeah.
We will definitely see because Mark is that kind of writer who'll be like, guess what, guys? Yeah. He'll answer those questions. Okay, so we read, we reviewed, we recommend all of these wonderful books. And if you enjoyed it, please click the click the thumbs up. Like this video because we need the algorithm to spread this to everyone on the interwebs. Let them know how amazing this was because we hope you liked it because we liked it.
Yeah, and hit subscribe, hit the bell, and go into settings and say yes. Give us the notifications. We do this every week for you. Yes. You also, at the bottom of this, you'll see our social media. Hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah.
Comment below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And
tell us the things.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you.
Yeah. Send us a picture of your poll on Twitter or Instagram. Just
your pull list. Your pull. I needed you to enunciate that a little better because that kind of sounded like an OLE and that was not at all what we were going for. It's a ULL. PULL. Your pull list.
Nightclub.
See? Oh, this is about to get mad views for all the wrong reasons. But we'll be here every week for you. Show it to us.